He actually tried to join the Marines when he was 15 years old, when he was a sophomore. Obviously, the Marines turned him down and told him to go home and wait until he graduated, or prior to graduation he could enlist at that point in time and then join. He tried it again when he was a junior. He was a patriot. He really wanted to be in the Marine. He had plenty of opportunities to do other things, but he chose to be infantry. He wanted to be on the ground. He had I think 4 tours in his 10 years of being in the Marines. He was really happy to be a Marine and to fight for his country. He would inevitably call at 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, obviously the time change doesn't bother him. The last conversation was the day he died. We talked about where he was going, briefly, what he was going to do. His platoon was going north in order to be able to secure an area for the Iraqis to have a free vote. He mentioned that he was getting on a helicopter and he hated helicopters. I said, Mike, I was on a helicopter for 10, 11 months, and I'm still here. I just get on the helicopter. You've got 6 days left in country. That's all. There were actually 2 helicopters involved, and he got on the wrong one. That's all. I was fortunate. I got to talk to my son that morning. The doorbell rang. When I opened the door, there were 2 Class A uniformed Marines standing at my door. I knew why they were there. I slammed the door in their face because I didn't want to be told that my son was not coming home. I opened the door. I pretty much collapsed at that point in time. I was able to pick up the phone and call my wife, Mike's stepmother. She was at the hospital working, and all I said was, "You need to come home now. You need to come home now," and I hung up. At that point in time, I needed to call my other children. I called both my daughters, and then I called my youngest son. And he's got 2 phones, private phone, his company phone, and he didn't answer either phone. And when he finally did answer, he called me back, and he didn't even, all he said was, "Mike's dead." I said, "How do you know?" And he says, you never call both phones. Mike's been dead for 10 years. He was killed on January 26, 2005. When he was killed, I had a business, I had a life, I was happy. My wife will tell you, I tell people it took me 2 or 3 years to get, to move forward. She'll tell you it took 6 years, and I finally decided, okay, she's right. And people talk about moving on. You can't move on. You never move on. Not from the death of a child, no matter how that child dies, whether it's a car accident or suicide or military action or whatever. I saw my friends in Vietnam die, so I know it happens. But when they show up at the door, it becomes reality, more of a reality, because that's a part of you has died. Don't let it die. Don't let it die. That's the we're now. When Michael was killed 10 years ago, we were on national broadcasts. We were big news. Everybody knew who we were. Now it's a subtitle. It's not even mentioned on the news if a family member gets killed. It's important, and not to remember that whether it was World War I, whether it was the Iraqi War, people died, and people continue to die, and we can't let the loss go unnoticed.
Please remember to honor our fallen military heroes and the sacrifice and strength of the surviving families who wear the Gold Star pin.